Hey everyone, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Amazon FBA and e-commerce podcast.
Lunch with them, lunch with them, lunch with them, lunch with them.
Okay, so today another big show following our 200th episode. We are going to have the man, the myth, the legend, Kevin King on. Now, I don't know if you know a lot about Kevin, and like I always mention when he comes on, if you really want to know Kevin King, check out, and he only gave me a couple of stories, but check out I Know This Guy. We did I think it was about a 2-hour conversation with Kevin, kind of digging back into his other businesses that he was involved with. It's great. People love it. I get comments on it all the time. So check it out. But today we're going to be talking about fourth quarter and what to expect. So anyways, before I get into that, I just wanted to give a big shout out to Global Wired Advisors, our leading digital investment, our sponsor, who is a leading digital investment bank focused on optimizing the business sales process. For more information, please call Chris Shefferling and his team over at globalwiredadvisors.com. Where are you, Boy Wonder?
I heard my name. Hello.
Well,
Welcome.
you really
Happy
didn't say
Friday.
your name, but I'm glad you're answering to that now.
That's what you've been calling me for the last couple of months now. So
I've been calling you worse, but you answered.
That is true.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I am doing good. You survived. Is the celebration stopped after the 200th episode?
I mean, we can keep it going. We had a great turnout. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who came on yesterday or Wednesday. It was really awesome seeing everyone. Yeah, we had one of our biggest turnouts ever for like episodes wise. So thank you guys. It really meant a lot to us. But jumping into today's show, if you haven't already, please smash those like buttons. Give us those thumbs up. You can share this out to your Facebook groups, your favorite Facebook groups, anywhere that you want, that you think people could get insight from today's episode. So yeah, super excited. October 1st, episode 201. It's going to be good. Also, you can check out our YouTube channel if you've missed any of the episodes. That has everything, all 201 episodes. That's just Norman Farrar that you can check that out. And of course, join the Facebook group, Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA, and Ecommerce Collective. But I don't want to take up too much time, and I kind of want to just jump into today's action.
He remembered.
Yeah.
Squire.
Yes, Squire. Yes, and also welcome Jessica Rabbit, Kurt, Amar, Manny, Facebook user, Mark, Near, Faye. It's great to see everyone. And of course, if you have any questions, if you have any comments for Kevin or Norm, let us know. But also, how is Q4 looking for you guys? Let us know what you guys think of it. It's coming. It's here. So yeah, give us your thoughts, and it's going to be good.
All right. Okay. So if you do have comments, throw them over to the comment section. So it's time. Sit back, relax, grab your cup of coffee, and enjoy the episode. Where is the man? Mr. King.
Wait, I'm still finishing my makeup. Hold on a second. Hold on. All right.
Well, hold it. The first thing, the most important thing, and I hope to heck you have it.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
It's being watched. The maid, we have a new maid, and she took the stuff off my desk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got my Aggie glass, though.
Oh, okay. All right. That'll do. Not quite this, but
no, usually what happened, I apologize. She actually took it off. It was here yesterday. I think she took it.
So I don't even know where to start, but for those of anybody who's listening who does not know you, can you just give us a really quick couple of sentences about who you are, what you do?
Yeah, I sell things.
You sell things. Very good.
Yeah. I'll copy my friend Steve. I sell things. I've been doing e-commerce for 30-something years, or about 30 years, actually, or since 1994, I think. So almost whatever that number is, 27 years.
Wow.
And I've been selling on Amazon since 2001. Doing FBA since 2015. The what people call the FBA model now. I have several companies selling on Amazon. I do training for Helium 10, their Freedom Ticket and elite courses. I run the $1 Billion Seller Summit. I have a company called Product Savants and a few other things in the space, speaking at a lot of different events all over. And I enjoy, one of my favorites is to be here with you. Just shoot, the time just flies when we're here.
It always does, and that's right back at you. And by the way, you talked about $1 Billion Seller Summit. I just came back from that, and again, you pulled it off. It was a great high level summit where I think everybody walked out of there saying, this is one of the best events of the year. So I don't know, like when is your next one going to be?
There's a virtual one in February, February 23rd and 24th. And then the next live in person one, like what we just did, will be in August of next year.
All right. Well, I can't wait to get back to there in Austin again.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm sure you'll be back. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And, smoking a few cigars with you on the balcony was fun too.
That's cool. And you made a new friend. You had one of our little dogs just curled up right next to Norm and just would not leave his side.
Yes. Yeah. That was cool. But you know what? It's like this podcast, right? We get on here and time flies. I think there was a couple of nights that we were out there like early morning, like 3:30 in the morning. And I'm wondering why I'm tired going to your 7 o'clock in the morning. Why do you schedule events at 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning?
We got to make sure you get your value. You're paying $5,000 to be there. You got to make sure you get that value.
I know you're a night guy like me, right? But maybe make it 9 o'clock or something like that.
We're changing that next time.
No, it was great. Anyways, let's talk about what's going to be happening. Like we're in Q4 as of today. What are some things that you're seeing? What are some things that people should be looking at?
Well, I think the biggest issue probably for Q4 is supply chain issues. And I think that could be a pro and a con, and depending on where you sit on that. I think it's not just going to affect e-commerce. I think even the stores. I told them, my wife right now, she's buying all of her Christmas stuff now. She's like, by the time the rush comes, a lot of stuff's going to be sold out. And I think that holds for most stores. That holds for a lot of e-commerce too. I've got, my calendar business, for example, I usually have those in July, and they're still not here.
They're still not. They're still not here.
I have them in July, and I just got a notice from the forwarder that said they just arrived to the bonded warehouse here in Austin, I think yesterday. So I'll probably have delivery of them next week, but I'm 2.5 months late on that. And you probably heard the story I told at the $1 Billion Seller Summit. One of our other companies, we do stuff with Body Glove. And we have some dog life jackets that's been stuck in Chicago since June. They arrived to Chicago to the rail yard. They cleared the port in LA, got sent by train to Chicago, and they're sitting in Chicago. And we still don't have them
since June.
Since June, and we've had a couple different freight forwarders on it. It turns out there's a big story in one of these freight magazines. These business magazines for people that are involved in freight. I forget the name of the magazine, but it's like Logistics Magazine or something. And they have a big story that says, there's 1,500 containers stuck in Chicago. They don't have the labor or the machinery to move them, and they're trying to work through it, and we're in that. And so I think those type of issues, that's not the only one, it's not isolated, are going to affect a lot of people. And so I think, but that could be good too. If you do have inventory, you actually may see your competition running out of stock earlier than they would. You may be able to slide in there and actually take over some of that. So if you're prepared and you have enough inventory here, you actually may be able to have an advantage over some of these other people that are having a lot of trouble. So I think you're going to see a lot of stuff go in and out of stock. And so what I would be, if you're having inventory supply chain issues or concerned about that, I would be focusing more not on volume, but on profits. Because you're probably going to, if normally you would sell 2,000 units, but this year you're only able to get in 1,000 and you hope the other 1,000 show up. I would be focusing on, let's not try to sell massive volume of those 1,000. Let's slow it down a little bit and sell a little bit higher price and make sure I make a profit, because you'll probably sell through them anyway.
Right. And because you have the inventory, a lot of your competitors won't.
Right.
So
I think that's the major. And then the pricing, a lot of people are saying the raw materials pricing is going up everywhere. in China. It's not just raw materials; it's the electricity to produce the raw. It's everything is going up, and so I think at some points there's a price disparities right now. You have some people that brought their inventory in earlier this year and they brought it in at a lower price, so they can afford to sell it at a lower
Mm-hmm.
price. And then you have other people who are just now getting their inventory in and they had to buy it at a higher price. So it creates a problem is where do you sell at? We're seeing prices with product savants, we're seeing prices rise. There's one product that was $79 is what we recommended people sell it at when we found it in June or July, early July. And now we went back, someone just bought the product. So we always go back and we verify everything. And now everybody instead of selling them at $79, they're selling them at $99. So we were able to lock in a price, so it increased the margin. In this case, you can sell it a little bit higher or undercut everybody and still have room. But I think you're going to see a disparity this fourth quarter too, with some people that are able to sell at a little bit lower price than other people just because they have their inventory's older or they negotiated different terms. And so I think it's going to probably be sometime next year before everybody catches up on an equal playing field.
I just want to go back to Chicago for a second.
Sure.
So let's say that happens. That's really unfortunate that happened to you, but you don't have to pay for anything. You don't have to pay for storage. I mean, it's a free from June till now, correct?
We haven't gotten a bill. So I
don't want to see it. I really don't want to see that bill.
I know some of the freight forwarders are charging, if a ship, what's the number right now? 50, 60 ships, something like that, stuck outside of Long Beach that are just waiting to come in.
Yeah.
Some of those ships are sitting out there several weeks or if not longer. And I know several freight forwarders are now charging a $5,000 fee for sitting out there. Yeah. And if it's not your fault, you get an extra $5,000 or so tacked onto your bill. So I don't know what's going to happen in the Chicago thing. It's a disaster right now. And, we got to pay royalties on this to buy. We have a guarantee. So we have all these units that we can't sell. We missed the entire selling season for those. And we still, today we had to send them a payment of like $12,500 as part of the licensing fee when we haven't sold. And that's not the first payment. We haven't sold a thing.
And they're just sitting there. There's nothing you can do. That's the thing. There's nothing you can do.
Well, actually, there is something we can do, and we're doing that now. We contacted Gimba, and we said, get us a manufacturer in Latin America. We're not going to manufacture these in China. We already found a factory in Taiwan, but that solves the tariff problem of 25% that we're having to pay as a tariff, Trump tariff.
Yeah.
But it doesn't solve this logistics issue. So it's going to cost us about $12,000 for them to really do this full vetting. It's a full package where they really vet the factory and do everything. But that $12,000 is going to be money well worth spending. I mean, that's way less than we pay in duties on one shipment coming out of China. So, tariffs and one shipment coming out of China. So that's what we're working on. But it backs everything up. So now we got almost like starting over. We got to find the factory, get them up to speed, get the samples made, prototypes. But once we get that rolling, I think we'll be in a much better shape.
I wasn't going to go down that path, but this comes down to, we've got so many sellers here that they do hear a lot of, love, hate, more hate than anything about Amazon. And they get nervous, can I go on Amazon? Is Amazon going to screw me over? And you have to be an entrepreneur. So you not only I know you, and I have I know you won't have me a problem saying this, but you had an incredible product last year that should have made you a ton of money in your partners, and you ended up losing $1 million because of Amazon.
Yeah.
And then this body glove thing happens, but you don't stop. You're resilient. You got kicked between the legs once, twice. You've probably been kicked between the legs 1,000 times.
We have some dog poop bags that are eco-friendly, and that they're showing up on Amazon. They're there. You can actually go and buy them, but they don't index for any of the keywords, and there's no BSR, so they don't have a category. So I submitted into Amazon and said, hey, we have a category here, whatever it is, dog supplies, pet bags, waste removal, whatever the subcategory is. And it's set there on the listing, but we're not showing up in that. And we don't have a BSR because we're not assigned a category. And they came back and they said, okay, we've updated it. Don't worry. Everything's fine. But still nothing changed. So I contacted my guy who I know from the business from last year from Germshark. And said, hey, can you look into this? He said, oh yeah, on the back end it says here that you're making a claim that this is compostable and you don't have the right certifications sent in for it. So we can't assign it to a category. And so basically that product is sitting there right now. So we're getting those certifications. We have them from the factory, but they're dragging their feet. They're like, we'll give them to you when you place your next order. Like, no, we need them right now, or we're not going to place the next order. But these certifications take 6 to 8 months to get, and they cost a little bit of money. So the factory has them, but they're trying to play hardball with us now too. So it's a never-ending thing.
Yeah.
And one of my other products, I've had problems last year with it. But the opportunity is still immense. It's a non-deterrent.
And that's what I want to bring across. So, we do hear negative, but when you do get that positive and it does start working, it can be huge. And huge doesn't mean $1 million. Huge just means launching a product, understanding how the process works, so you can apply it to your next product. You don't have to hit a home run. And it's probably better not to hit a home run right off the bat, because a lot of people won't be able to handle a home run.
Yeah, a home run creates its own. So I've had that problem in the past too. I've talked about, I mentioned some of the $1 billion seller summit with the mafia loans. A home run product creates a cash flow problem, and you get into other issues. I mean, this is business. This is you're playing with the big boys if you want to be successful here, and it can be cutthroat and it can be brutal, but it can also be extremely lucrative.
Right.
And you hear those stories all the time of people selling their businesses for 7, 8, 9 figures, and it happens. But also, like you said, maybe you don't want to play right there. Maybe it's playing down in the in the lower levels is sometimes just fine. You have less problems. You can make a nice little side hustle. Just depends on what your goals is. If you're trying to sell your company for 7, 8, 9 million and have retirement money, you can't play down in the low levels. But if you're just trying to, if you're a teacher and you're working a job and you have some other job and you just want this as a side hustle and to make some extra money for a nice vacation and pay off some bills, yeah, you could do that with a lot less hassle and a lot less trouble. And there's plenty of opportunity, more probably there than there ever has been. In the past, Amazon didn't have the traffic, didn't have the eyeballs. So niching down, like doing left-handed gloves for redheaded people or something, some serious down niche, you'd have 2 people be searching for that and you make a couple sales. But now Amazon's grown so big and so many people are going there. Now there's hundreds of people looking for left-handed gloves for redheaded people or whatever. And so you can niche down and compete on a lot of keywords that have 200-300 searches a month and do okay, as long as you're comfortable just making a few $1,000s profit a month. And there's nothing wrong with that for some people. And some people, like in Pakistan, for example, that's life-changing. There's a group in Pakistan, you and I both know, it's like 700,000-800,000 people in this group. A lot of them are VAs, some of them are starting to sell. And if they can make it a $500 to $1,000 profit a month, that's life-changing for their family.
Right.
Because the average wage over there is like $200 a month or something. So it just depends on what your goals are.
Have you been seeing these emails? Afalabi pointed it out the other day to me. He said that he's talking to a client and he's seeing these rolling blackouts happening in China right now. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, they're going to get some energy or something from Russia. I heard they're having to buy some extra energy from Russia, but they're having some issues. Yeah.
Yeah, I've also heard it's not so much like it's funny how you see the emails written, right? But what it really comes down to, this is just my opinion, is it just happens to be in these provinces is where they're seeing COVID again. So I think what's happening is there's not the workers to keep the power on for these factories. I think there's a lot more to the story than, the power running out.
Yeah, there could be. Yeah.
So,
and if one person gets COVID, it's shut the whole city down pretty much.
Look at Ningbo.
Yeah.
The whole port is shut down because of one person, right?
Yeah.
So just another small little thing coming into fourth quarter. The other thing that I saw, and you touched on it, was the rising cost. We saw labor costs rise over 30% just recently. We've also received an email that the deposit that we put for one of our clients was no longer good enough. They needed another 30% So now we're giving them basically the 30% that was required. And to move forward, they wanted another 30%. The 30% was going to be an increase in price. And then the remaining 70% was due on delivery.
I haven't seen that exact. It doesn't surprise me, but I've seen where we've gotten a price, and they said this is only good for 3 days.
Yeah.
Either you put the deposit down now and lock it in, or we'll requote it if you don't give us an answer in 3 days. I'm like, come on, 3 days. We gotta run it by the board, but we gotta run it by this, and we gotta do some other. Well, 3 days is it, and then we go back to them. We didn't do it in 3 days. We went back to them, and it went up about 11%.
So let's talk about some other strategies. So we talked about the inventory, and inventory is probably the main one, right? That's priority one, inventory. Would you fly in product? Like right now, if your product was ready and you didn't know, like right now, if it's going to LA, it's not going to happen. But would you fly in your product depending on the size and weight of the product?
Yeah, I have flown in products. And we still fly in advanced stuff, even on these life jackets I was talking about. They're stuck in Chicago. That's the first shipment. We flew in 200 units, 200 units, and it cost us quite a bit of money to do that. But we did that so we could get the listing up and get the Vine reviews coming in and get a few things going. We pretty much sold out of all that. I think there's a couple left on one of the sizes or something. But I usually do that. But as far as flying in a whole shipment, if the numbers make sense, it's worth it. I mean, usually you're going to have an additional cost per unit on your bottom line. You're going to take a hit to the profits, but sometimes that's better than to get it. It's better to get it launched if you can do it profitably. I would not do that at a loss, but I would do.
What about a break even?
A break even, I think as long as you have something coming behind it, the problem is if you do that at a break even, and you have something coming by sea behind it, and that sea shipment gets delayed, and you sell through the stuff that you air freighted in, you just kind of double shot yourself in the foot. Because now you launched it at a break even, you got the momentum going, but you can't follow it up because you have the sea shipment's not arrived yet. So that means you got to air freight more in, and you're still at that break even. And I don't like to sit at a break even past the first shipment. I'm willing to go to break even or a slight loss even on my first shipment in Amazon, but after that, I don't want to do that, me personally, and so I would be careful there.
And we've talked about this a lot, just in our own discussions about profit. And so you might be looking at a break even, but you might be able, because everybody else's inventory is going to be going out, you might be able to bump your price up. Like Black Friday, I think it was you, Tim and I, that were talking about for Black Friday. Just, I don't adjust my prices. Or if I do, it's very slightly. Or I know, like Tim, he'll bump his prices up on Black Friday.
I bump them up. I mean, I used to have great success with this and still do. But just an example, a few years ago, I was selling a makeup mirror, a little handheld makeup mirror that pops open and stuff. I think some people still sell them, but
I travel with it everywhere I go.
I think I saw you trimming your beard with it. In the airport or a bathroom or something. I wasn't quite sure. You wanted to look good when you met me.
Absolutely.
But no, these were selling at $19.95, and I raised them to $24.95 right about mid-November, and they still sold well. And then I put after the holidays, I left it at $24.95. After the holidays, I put a $5 coupon on it. Left it at $24.95, and put one of those $5 coupons, and it worked really, really well. And I'm selling it. So what happens is people. Let me shut this door. 1 second.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. So what I did is I put it at $24.95, put a $5 coupon on it. And what happens is it's now the same price as my competition who are selling $19.95. But what happens is psychologically, someone looks at it and goes, well, this is $24.95, but it must be better than the $19.95 one. But there's a $5 clippable coupon here, so I can get it at the same price. So I would rather have the better, more expensive one at the same price than the lower one. So that psychology actually works, and it worked well. And I just kept running it like that pretty much in perpetuity.
I see Simon said break even doesn't pay the bills. Yes, but if you can keep the flow going and keep your rank going, it can pay your bills, especially when the new product comes in. One of the things that I was just going to talk about, just as we kind of went down that path, was there are different ways that we could increase our profit. So even though you might be at a break even, you could look and rethink how you're pricing your product. Could you go back to your sourcing agent? We talked about this, about going back to your either your manufacturer or your sourcing agent to see if you could negotiate a better price. Not only a better price, better terms, or can they help with the shipping costs? Take something, and maybe you'll be able to get, at the end of the day, a better price somewhere along the lines. There's got to be something. It could be your packaging.
The trick with that, though, Norm, is that's a good strategy, but volume speaks in China, especially.
Right.
So if you're someone buying 200, 500, 1,000 units occasionally, your chances of getting some concessions like that are fairly low. But if you can paint a picture of them, even if you're a guy that's just buying 500 or 1,000, if you can come across as bigger than what you really are, they don't have to know you're one guy sitting in your underwear in your house selling on Amazon. They can think you're some big company with 20 different people if you can paint that kind of image. And if you give them a forecast, look, I'm ordering 1,000 now, but we got it. Amazon is, sometimes they have some rules. You can make some stuff up. They have some rules. We got to make sure everything's okay with the listing, and the first one's coming okay. But here's our projections based on our research and our marketing team. And our data scientists, they've done these, they spent a couple of weeks doing all the research on this, and they have this number. We're going to be selling 22,000 units this year in the first 6 months. So our first order is 1,000 for these reasons. But, we're expecting to be coming back to you in the next order. We expect to be 2,500, next order 5,000. Here's our projections. Here's what we do. Can you work with us on this? And then you'll get their attention a lot more than you will if you say, hey, I want to order 500 more units. Can you give me an extra 30 days?
Right. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. One thing we haven't, it is 12:30. So of course I forgot about this, is the giveaway. So today we have a giveaway. It's a really incredible giveaway. I don't think, Michelle Harris, who's our senior public relations manager, I talked to her, and she's going to be giving away a gift guide. So you guys can go out and check your gift guide. It's very hard to get into gift guides right now. They are, 2 months ago was a lot easier, but she'll go and she'll find you a great gift guide for your niche. So if you want to get into Wheel of Kelsey, just hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. If you want to order or get in twice, 2 ballots, just tag 2 people, either on the channel or outside. So you'll get into a gift guide. And what I'll do, I haven't talked to Michelle about this, but I'll ask Michelle if she can spend a bit of time talking to you about gift guides, how to get into them. But we do have a great episode on that. I think Shane Oglow was on talking about, how to find gift guides on your own without having to pay. Okay, so that's it for that. Let's talk about ports. So there's a huge difference going in certain ports. Right now, there's 50 to 70 ships outside one. That's going to take forever. There's other ports, like we're telling people to go on the East Coast, to go over that way. It's better, like in New Jersey right now. It's better for us anyways. What are you seeing, Kevin?
Yeah, I think if you can skip some of the Southern California ports, you're better. I mean, Seattle is still not, last I checked, was not nearly as bad. Or if you're shipping from India or somewhere, you can come around over to the East Coast. Or you can have, if a ship's going through the Panama Canal, and coming into Houston or something up in the Florida ports or New Jersey or whatever. It may cost you a little extra in the shipping to get it there, but at the end, you may actually get the product sooner and actually may pay less as a result of that.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because people will look at the price and go, oh, I have to pay this much extra. But having it sit for 3 weeks and not moving, you're going to pay a lot more than if you send it over to another port where you can unload within days. Like I think Steve Simonson was saying that in Seattle, it was only like a 3-day turnaround right now to unload.
Yeah, and the other thing you want to do is don't ship inland. Don't let it clear inland. You can actually the containers can actually clear customs. They could clear in Chicago or St. Louis or Houston or Dallas, and so basically the containers they get shipped on a rail car, bonded, sealed or whatever, and then they actually clear the customs at the final destination, and that's causing delays right now and problems and extra costs because that ties up the container. So that container's having to go further in, so it's better off to unload at the port, whether that's Seattle or New Jersey or LA or wherever it is, and then have separate arrangements to actually pick it up from there and ship it separately, versus taking that container all the way in right now because of the shortage of containers. And you're paying a premium on that, and it's causing some delays. So I'd be careful, or at least take a look at that and make sure that doesn't affect you.
Are you seeing people making a lot of mistakes? And if so, what are those mistakes?
On the shipping?
No, just in general. Any mistakes that you're seeing people making right now, just in general?
Yeah, I think it's still a lot of people, they don't know their margins, so they're trying to sell a product on Amazon for $13.99 that they're sourcing for $4, but it's really costing them $9 landed, and they have no idea of those true costs. That's the number one thing that a lot of people make a mistake on. You need to have, if you're selling something under $100, it really needs to be a 3 to 6x markup, ideally closer to 6. Mm-hmm. 3 is cutting it close. So if your product cost is $5, the absolute minimum you should be selling that for is $25 to $30. Otherwise, you just don't have enough room for all the fees and costs and storage and PPC and everything else to make profit. Unless you're just selling massive volume. If you're selling massive volume, you can work on a little bit slighter margin, but that's difficult, and you're very vulnerable to other people coming in and doing the same thing against you, and it just becomes a race to the bottom. The other thing that a lot of people make a mistake on is going after big keywords. They're launching their first product, and they want to go after the keywords with 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 search volume, and they think that's where they need to rank, and they need to do all these giveaways. That's not where you need to rank. You need to start down in the hundreds. Sub 1,000 search terms per month, and try to dominate those. And hopefully they have the good, there's some people call them root words. So if the word hand sanitizer is a keyword that has, I don't know what the volume is right now, but at one point it was 2.2 million a month. Let's just say it's 200,000 right now. People searching for hand sanitizer. That would be a root word, but hand sanitizer gel travel size still has that root word in it, but that one only has, I don't know what the exact number is, I'm making this up, 2,000 searches a month. It's going to be a lot easier to rank on that longer tail one with the root word in it. And as you're making sales on that, you're actually going to be benefiting the main the keyword of the root, hand sanitizer, so that when you are ready down the road to try to start ranking on page 1 for that, you'll have some momentum going already and have some relevance in Amazon's eyes. And so that's a mistake that a lot of people make is trying to sell too fast, too quickly on highly competitive keywords. I see that a lot, and a lot of people just don't do their keyword research right and actually find where those opportunities are, where there's some golden spots that you can fill that 2 or 3 competitors are doing well on, but the rest of them aren't. And you can come in there, and even if you're the 4th best guy, you can still do really well. And so finding those opportunities, and then the PPC. A lot of people on PPC, they don't understand it. And one of the reasons PPC costs are rising, one is competition, but one is there's just a lot of idiots that are just.
I was just going to say stupidity.
It's just stupid money, but that's costing everybody. And so really knowing how to properly do your PPC and really how to analyze that. In the old days, people would say, you need to do an auto campaign to figure out what your keywords are. You don't need to do that anymore. I mean, the tools out there, the Helium 10s and the other tools, they're so good now. With brand analytics, you really don't you should not be needing to test anything with PPC. You should actually know, not let Amazon tell you, but you should actually know what your 5 to 20 main keywords are going to be. And most products are going to make the vast majority of their sales on between 5 and 20 keywords. I mean, in some cases, there's hundreds of keywords that maybe could make a sale for you. And don't get me wrong, those hundreds could add up to real numbers. If you're just making one sale a month on 200 different keywords. That's 200 cells. You don't want to leave those off, but in the beginning, you want to really focus on that 80-20. And there's plenty of opportunity there. And a lot of people are just trying to use the PPC to actually let Amazon tell them what sells instead of you telling them we know what sells because you've done the homework properly using the tools out there. So that's another big mistake that a lot of people make. And then a lot of them is just not really knowing how to source the product properly, not knowing how to, not doing their inspections, after their first or second order. Saying everything's been fine. I don't need to tie it. It's going to take an extra few days for an inspection. I don't need to do that anymore. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. How you doing, Connie?
She was just dropping in to say hi.
I'm the coffee girl.
Yep,
so.
getting my cup of coffee.
Sorry to interrupt. I know that's so rude, Kevin.
That's okay. Good to see you. So those are some of the big ones. I mean, I could sit here. There's a list. We could talk all day about the mistakes. But those are some of the big ones.
Right. Kels, just because I know that the last time we had 1,000 questions, do we want to start on a few questions?
Yeah, we can. Definitely. I know I'm a little blurry right now. My webcam is freaking out a little bit, but I'll jump into some questions. Let me just see. Okay, from Manny, does this following idea also work? Minimize my inventory to 2 or 3 so that this number is shown red, and customers should be buying in order not to miss the limited inventory.
No, if you're doing FBM, that if you're shipping your own stuff out of your house, you might be able to do that, limit it to 2 or 3. So it always shows that Amazon says, there's only 3 units left in stock. But if you're doing FBA or you're doing that with a 3PL, you could probably, I guess you might be able to do it with 3PL, but if you're doing that FBA, you can't do that.
That could hurt you, right?
That could actually really hurt you. But if you're shipping something out of your house, out of your garage or out of your house, then yeah, you could do that. The only downside is if you have to watch that. What if you could actually sell 6 one day and you set it to 3 and you just cut your sales in half? I might not do it to 2 or 3. I might put it at 10 or something. But yeah, there used to be a software tool that actually did that if you were FBA. It actually tricked the system. And Amazon, it was like 4 or 5 years ago, and it was pretty popular until Amazon said, "Hey, this is not cool," and they forced it to shut down. But it can work, but I would only do that if it's FBM, and you have to stay on top of it.
Oh, one of the other things I wanted to talk about, we were just talking about keyword research, and some of the things that people forget about is there's other methods. So, you can go and you can learn from Helium 10. You can go and you can learn from the way Tim Jordan does it in Project X. There's all sorts of different ways to do it. And so don't just limit yourself. Like you came on, I think it was the last time you came on, and you went through a very thorough, detailed way of exploring keyword, using brand analytics. Well, since that time, we've changed our way of doing keyword research, and we're using brand analytics more and more. Mm-hmm. And we're finding that there's a lot of little nuggets out there that you can find using Amazon's own tools.
Oh yeah.
And they're golden nuggets.
Yeah, no, the brand analytics is super powerful. And I know some tool like Helium 10 doesn't have that integrated because Amazon says you're not allowed to do that. Mm-hmm. And Helium 10 is a big company, so they play by the rules. There's other companies out there like Seller Tools and the Titan people and some others that don't give a shit about the rules, and they import that stuff and use it in their tool until they get caught. Until Amazon actually is going to come after them, which at some point they will, or Amazon will say everybody can do it, one or the other. But if you don't have one of those tools, then you have to download it yourself and do the processing yourself. But yeah, there's some gold in there in finding keywords. And there's lots of different ways. Brandon Young, someone else that has a really good methodology that he teaches on how to find keywords. Tim and you guys teach a way. I teach a way. There's not just one way to find it. There's lots of different ways to uncover this gold. So don't just think that there's just one way, or you watch the YouTube video and that's the only way. Always be looking for alternatives.
Right. And that's the key. Title optimization, listing optimization. There are other ways.
Yeah.
Mine's the best. No.
All right. I know this one is a pretty big topic right now,
Okay.
but from Mac, how do you guys feel about sourcing from within the USA? Are you seeing success? Any efforts to do this?
Sourcing in the USA, I know Alpha Lobby, Norm's a partner and some other stuff is pretty good at this, but my thoughts on it are sourcing in the USA can be great. You can get some really good stuff here, but typically they don't want to mess with small quantity stuff. Usually, if you call up a US factory and say, "Hey, I want to make 500 or something," they won't even return your call. You call them and say, "I want to make 50,000," you might get a call back. So I see that as a stumbling block for a lot of Amazon type of sellers. Some of the raw materials still come from China. Some of the stuff, still comes out of China, so that can still be a hiccup. A lot of the beauty stuff, the bottles, empty bottles, and things like that come from China. Um, the the manufacturing costs can typically be more here, just because labor costs are more here. The quality though can be better here.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, it makes sense to do stuff here. Some things like food products, like dog treats and stuff, things like that, I would not be doing those in China. I would be doing those in the U.S. Or Canada or maybe parts of Europe. But so there's certain advantages to it. If I could source more in the U.S., I would. Um, it's just it's difficult when you're doing smaller run stuff, and it's just a whole different setup here on actually how to say it, on actually creating new products and everything here. It's just we don't have some of the infrastructure they have in China and the labor costs that they have. Not that we can't do it, we just aren't set up for it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Afalabi saw a hole that wasn't being serviced. And what he's doing right now is trying to put together a database of U.S. manufacturers, a very easy way. Like there's a lot of U.S. I don't know if you know, well, you know this, but a lot of Amazon sellers might not know this, but there's a lot of U.S. and Central America, South America suppliers on Alibaba.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is check a box and you'll be able to see it. But within the U.S., there's not a great database. There's ThomasNet, but it's just a directory. So he's trying to find ways to source specific products in the U.S. And there's a lot of products that you cannot source in the U.S. It doesn't make any sense. But wood products, metals, there's a printing products, there's a ton of stuff. But also in Central and South America, there's a lot of opportunities that are starting. They're not where China is, and you really do have to source and do your quality control. But there's areas down there. Just like you said, you were talking with Gimba, who was going down to Mexico or to South America to find your neoprene for your suits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but even down there, some of the machinery and the raw materials still come from China.
Yeah.
But the labor costs in Mexico are lower. They're hard workers, as most of us know. The ones that come to the U.S., they do all the jobs that most Americans don't want to do. They're hardworking people. They work for less, and the transportation costs are with NAFTA. There's no tariffs on most.
Yeah, no tariffs.
And the transportation costs, you put it on a truck. I even have a guy right now in Colombia that's reached out to me that's owns a foam factory in Colombia, and he's wanting to get on Amazon, and he's like, no problem, we'll ship it. It comes out of Cali. We can ship it up the West Coast, or we can go through the Panama Canal, or we can go into Houston. It's no problem. That's way better than even coming from, I saw someone post another option is India. India still has these same logistical issues of getting to the ports of the U.S. and the extra cost and time that you don't have if you're in Latin America. And I think Latin America, I don't think it's ever going to be as big as China, but I think it's over the next several years, it's going to grow dramatically. I think you're going to you may see a Mexican Alibaba type of website pop up.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a lot of people messing with that right now. Some people are actually trying to make something like that. And I think you're going to see some sourcing agents start really specializing and helping people move to Latin America. And so I think it's going to become a major, a much bigger player than what it is right now, and much more known than what it is right now.
Right.
Okay. The next question is from Dr. Cause. Hey, Kevin. Last time you were on, you mentioned the bad luck you had with tons of product you were trying to liquidate. Curious what happened.
We got rid of it all. We have, I think, 30 units, something like that, left at Amazon of one of the SKUs. And as soon as that sells, that company is going to be shut down. But the rest of it is 1.1 million at our costs that we donated. It's in a 3PL warehouse, 460 pallets full in a 3PL warehouse in Kent, Washington. And we donated some of it to Convoy of Hope, which is a big charity that helps with the homeless and stuff. They sent some big semi trucks and picked up some of it, but they couldn't take it all. And we donated some other to a couple of gospel groups or big church type of groups. And then we still had a bunch left. And this is flammable material. It was, it's hand sanitizer stuff. It's liquid. And the fire marshal was coming to visit the place, and we didn't have actual permission, the right, hazard codes or whatever to actually store this stuff. So we had to get rid of this stuff fast. So we put an ad out on Craigslist and locally in Seattle, said, hey, free for all, come to this particular address, take as much as you want. So literally there was a line, it looked like one of those free food lines, 40 vehicles long at one point come into this warehouse facility, and they're backing up their SUVs and their vans and their little Civics or whatever, and filling the front seat, filling the back seats, and we wiped it all out.
And you can find all of it on eBay right now.
I'm actually surprised. I've actually checked to see, and nobody's selling. I have not checked eBay, but I've checked Amazon. Nobody's selling it on Amazon.
Oh,
so.
I thought for sure there'd be like a million
I
people
figured
selling.
there would be some too, but they're not. I think part of it, it's difficult to sell on Amazon. Amazon doesn't like you selling that stuff. So, and maybe I haven't checked eBay though.
I got another question. What are your thoughts about going on or creating your own Shopify site or going on to Walmart outside of Amazon? I know what you were thinking a year ago or 2 years ago, but what are your thoughts now?
I think Amazon's still the best opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you should focus on Amazon first. And once you've conquered Amazon, once you've kind of maxed out whatever you're doing there, then consider going to the others. I think you should set up a Shopify site initially, but I wouldn't put any emphasis in it. You just need it for credibility and legitimacy. But I wouldn't really, whatever sales come through, there's just bonus.
Mm-hmm.
But I would focus, unless you're on a big budget. If you're coming in this with millions of dollars, do them all at the same time. And you come into this with experience and a big team, go into all of them at the same time. But if it's just you and you're just getting going and you're new to this, focus on Amazon first. I would do Amazon US, and before I even touch Walmart, I would go to Amazon Canada and maybe Mexico, but more so Canada. And then before I went to Europe or somewhere, I would probably mess with Walmart in the US. I think Walmart's the next best one, and it's definitely up and coming. I know you and Tim talk a lot about it. There's some people doing really well there. But I just think you can spread yourself too thin, spread your money too thin when you're first starting. But for people like me and you, if I'm starting a new company right now, I'm going to go to Walmart at the same time because I'm experienced and it makes sense for me to do that. But for a new person, I wouldn't recommend it right away.
Right. Yeah, and it's very tough to get on Walmart, by the way, unless you are an experienced seller.
Yeah, they have a vetting process.
Yeah.
And when I got on Walmart, it's been a few years, so I don't know what the rules have changed, but they want to see a certain number of seller feedbacks on Amazon and a certain score and certain products review score and stuff like that.
Right.
I don't know if it's the same now, but
it is. They do vet everybody. All right, Kels.
Okay,
Squire.
this is a bit of a big one. This is from Alina. Do you think that the thought of Amazon giving more ranking juice to an FBA launch is real? This Q4 is going to be very difficult. A lot of sellers in terms of FBA inventory. If you run OOS during a launch and continue FBM, do you think Amazon will kind of penalize you? I've had all kinds of results on this in our ranking campaigns, and I can't put my finger on it. So here I am asking the experts.
I don't know the exact answer on that. All I know is my gut feeling. In the past, I believe FBA definitely made a difference in the customers trusting in the performance of something and in how Amazon perhaps even ranked it. But since the big changes last year when they started restricting inventory and a lot of people had to start doing FBM, my suspicion is Amazon changed something in the algorithm where if there was something that favored FBA in the past, either doesn't anymore or it does it to a lesser degree. But I don't know that for a fact. But I've done very well on FBM stuff that when we weren't FBA, and it did just as well as it did FBA on ranking and sales wise. So I think there's a number of factors there on that. So to answer your initial question, do they give more ranking juice to if you're FBA? I don't know that that's as big as it used to be. And like I said, if it is there, it's much smaller than what it used to be. That's my experience.
Yeah, that like 2 years ago, this would have been a whole different answer. But it came down to last year when everything, was the year from hell. And that's what we found too, that FBM finally was getting proper promotion. But I don't know if they are. Like, I'm like you, Kevin. I have no idea if they're giving equal or less promotion to FBM right now. It looks like they're giving kind of equal.
Yeah, I think Amazon, it may be equal, but the customer is going to give it a preference.
Yes.
So by default, so the customer, if I'm as a customer, if I'm going on and I see something that's Amazon FBA and I can get it tomorrow or the next day, and there's another guy, even if he's a buck or two less, and it's still a brand new product and he's FBM, I'm going to get it in 3 to 5 days, I'm not buying from that guy.
Right.
I'm going to go with the FBA guy. So that by default, that will actually make the FBA listing convert better. And so then by default, the algorithm will favor that FBA listing. So that could be what's happening there. But if you have a product that people want and you're not in stock at FBM, if they want it and you don't have a lot of competition on it, or your reviews are way better, I think, and it says that they're going to get it within a very short, reasonable amount of time, I think it'll deter only a small amount of people, less than it would have in the past. And most of that's as a result of last year. Now, if it says it's coming out of China or something like that, and you're going to take 30 days, e-packet or whatever, I think that could hurt you a lot more. But if the seller rating is good, the seller feedback score is good on that, I don't know that it's going to hurt as much as it used to.
Okay.
Next one is from Pietro. Hi, Kevin. What tools do you suggest to forecast inventory, to know when to send inventory in Amazon and when to reorder in China? The long lead times make it hard to manage inventory.
Well, there's several tools that are out there that do that. Inventory Pro is one. There's SoStocked. There's several that do it. I personally just do it by spreadsheet. I'm still old-fashioned. I don't have hundreds of thousands of product like Norm does, where I need these sophisticated systems and SOPs and everything. Most of my companies are a handful of products, so it's not too hard. So I doing it by spreadsheets and by taking a look at it every couple of weeks and seeing where we're at, seeing what we need to do, seeing what the lead times are. And sometimes we get caught with our pants down, but that happens with these inventory tools too. I don't trust Amazon. When Amazon, they put up alerts and stuff inside Seller Central that say you should reorder this or here's what we recommend, I ignore that 100% because that's just pure guessing. They have no idea what I'm doing or what promotions I'm running or anything. So I completely ignore that. But I'm still old-fashioned to do it by spreadsheet.
I've had good success, and I know quite a few people that use SoStocked, and they're very happy with it. And it's inexpensive compared to some of the others.
Yeah, SoStocked might be one. I think it's SoStocked. .com, I think. You might take a look. I know when it first came out a few years ago, it was a little buggy, but they worked really, really hard to really improve it, and I heard really good things about it.
And Kels, maybe you can throw that into the comments section after the next question.
Okay. Let me see. Next question is Tony. Do you think that expanding the business to Shopify and fulfilling orders by myself is a good way to avoid slow check-in time at Amazon warehouse?
So you mean you're going to set up a Shopify store and drive? How are you going to drive traffic to that Shopify store? You're going to drive it through Facebook. How are people going to find you? It's going to be expensive to drive it to there. I'm not sure why you would do that. It's a whole different business model. It's a whole different animal, whole different cost structure. It can be good for some people, but it's a whole different way of selling. So I don't think that has anything to do with avoiding slow check-in times in an Amazon warehouse.
And don't forget, if you find a 3PL or if you want to do it yourself, you've got FBM. So, you know, that's the other option that you have. You don't have to switch over to a Shopify store.
Yeah, if you're worried about the slow check-in times, just set up a 3PL and do FBM, or do it ship it yourself. You said you're fulfilling yourself, so you can just have FBM on Amazon, and those orders will come to you, and you can use a software like ShipStation. I think it's $10 a month for the basic program. It goes up from there depending on the number of orders you have. But for somewhere around $10 a month, if you have a small number of orders, $40 a month if you have a lot of orders, you can actually import everything automatically. It'll help you print all the UPS labels. It'll keep track of all the tracking numbers. It'll automatically notify and update the Amazon database. That's if you're going to be doing stuff yourself, I would recommend ShipStation.
Okay.
Okay. From Marino, what is a safe percentage to raise prices without Amazon flagging a listing?
If you don't have your pricing set, it can be 20, 30% up or down. But if you go in and actually set your pricing parameters, you can do whatever you want. So like if when you go into Seller Central and you go in the back end and you're going to the FBA, I forget what the tab's name, but where you see the list of all your products and it's got all the columns there, you can, up in the top right corner, you can hit preferences, and it'll show you a bunch of other columns that you can add or take away. And two of those are low price and high price. And you want to make sure you turn on that low price and that high price. Then those columns will show up there when you're looking at your whole inventory list, where it shows your ASIN, it shows your FN SKU, it shows your price, your inventory and stock. And you can set those. And so I've done that in the past where if I'm selling something for $19.95, I'll put the low price at $4.99 and I'll put the high price at $9.99, just some crazy numbers, so that if I'm ever screwing around in there, it never goes out of that range. If you do that, you'll never have a problem. But if you don't do that and you go more than about 20 to 30%, typically, it'll actually you could get a flag that says price out of range or pricing error or whatever.
Or losing the buy box.
Or lose the buy box too. Yeah.
There's your nugget, Marina.
All right. We are at 1:00. I'm not sure how everyone is for time.
Kevin, how are you for time today?
I got 7 more seconds.
7 more seconds. Okay.
Now we can answer a few more.
Okay. Great.
All right. Let's see. From Manny, I see my competitors replacing everything except the main picture. One of them has no BSR, no indexing anymore, and on Helium 10 also no data, but the ASIN is active and you are able to buy. How does this work?
It means they probably have lost the category. Like, I don't know if you were here at the beginning where I was explaining one of our products, some dog poop bags that doesn't have a BSR or a category listing because we don't have the right certification submitted to Amazon. It could be a case like that where they've lost their subcategory either by accident due to an Amazon updating system or on purpose because they're missing something on the listing. So that would be why that could be happening. That not indexing anymore could also be because they got moved to a category like adult products or something like that, either on purpose or by accident. That can happen and cause the indexing to not work. And when Amazon can't pull a BSR, that's when that shows that NA data and stuff in there. That means there's something going on with that listing that caused a hiccup.
Okay, great. This one, I think Norm is going to enjoy this question. No, don't worry. It's from Jason. Besides satin or velvet packaging, are there any other ideas I'm missing to add value to my product line?
There are tons of ways and usually very inexpensive. You don't have to spend a lot of money to make high perceived value. It could be psychological things. So let's say that you're doing a supplement. Being able to put a seal or putting a shrink wrap around the cap, that adds value. think of a shampoo and conditioner. I don't know about you, but sometimes you get bottles that have the same cap. Well, by putting a different color on the cap, doesn't cost you anything more. That's different. That's a psychological thing. Packaging by itself, I look at my competitors. So right now, I've just bought, I think there were 7 of my competitors for this new product that we're going to be bringing out. I wanted to see their packaging. Some of their packaging absolutely sucked. Others were very good. They had rigid boxes. When I opened it up, this is like for soaps, that the soaps were in like a cellophane, or not a cellophane, like a saran wrap with a sticker on it. Very, very classy looking. The sticker cost a half a penny. You know, the saran wrap, inserts, donating. So for like for our soap, let's say we want to work with a charity that works with countries that third world countries that are providing clean water and hygiene to third world villages. So we do that. We don't promote our name on it at all, but we promote the charity. These are all little things that you can do. Upping the packaging itself. So you might go, if somebody's got a card stock, like a tuck box, typical tuck box when you think of soap. Well, you can get a thicker stock. You could get a micro corrugate where the way that it opens from the top, open it from the side so you can unveil a message. The message doesn't cost you anything. The way that you put the insert in a card in the package, you might have it there in a sort of a pressed linen envelope with a card that opens up. It might cost a tiny bit more, but it looks that much more classier. It all depends on the perception that you want to perceive and the envelope. So if you're going after plastic shoe stretchers and there's a very small, like there's only one tier and you can't push that envelope any higher, then why waste your time and money on really good packaging? But if you can take like either a soap or a beauty product where by simply changing a bottle, you can go, and I did this with Dead Sea Mud. I showed Dead Sea Mud, and this is real. This just happened at $6 to I think it was around $8. Might have been a bit more. First level, same page. Next level was $12 to I think $30. Next level, and those were for 8 to 16 ounce bottles. Okay, a 3.5 ounce bottle of Dead Sea Mud was $87. And the other tier that I showed ranged from around the 70s to the 80s. And where do you want to be? So it depends on that, like where you can price it out. If I couldn't get Dead Sea Mud past $20, then I'd have to be careful on my packaging. So you have to do a lot of research and check whereabouts your pricing, where you can come out at, where you want to be out at, where your volume at. So you have to look at those keyword reasons. You can spend $80. You can try to price it out at $87, but is anybody going to buy it? Is anybody buying this high end Dead Sea Mud? Which they are, but it's a big topic. I hope I covered at least a bit of it. I don't know if there's anything else that you want to add there, Kev.
I think you did a good job there. We could talk about this forever.
Yeah, that's a whole podcast on itself.
Yeah, packaging can be a make or break for you, Ibrahim. It can. Packaging is very important. People eat with their eyes first, and if you do the right packaging, it can $1 spent packaging can mean $10 in additional revenue.
Yep.
Right, and from Simon, looks like Kevin and Norm used Dead Sea Mud, looking gorgeous today.
Thank you, Simon.
All right, should we do one more?
One more.
All right. Let's see. Okay, from Howard. As a premium brand, how should I think about Walmart.com? My brand is not designed to be in a Walmart store.
That's a good question for you, Norm.
Okay, so for Walmart, you're not targeting the store. So Walmart.com and Walmart store are two different things, but you do want to check your competition. If you check Amazon and you check Walmart, completely, you'll see a variety of different competitors. And you'll probably see that there's a lot less or zero competitors on Walmart. So it's your stage. You can do what you want with it. Now, when you're going into Walmart, you want to make sure that you're doing keyword research. Keyword research on Walmart and keyword research on Amazon for Amazon are completely different. You'll be shocked at some of the different keywords that will work extremely well on Walmart and won't work on Amazon, and vice versa. So you have to check that out. Now, Walmart will come after if you start converting and if you start making sales and you look like a real brand on Walmart.com. You'll have, I think it's twice a year that they'll ask you to come out and pitch them. So you have the opportunity to get into the Walmart store, but at that point, you probably have to change your packaging, because we're packaging for online. We're not packaging for retail, and there's a whole other standard there. Now, if you want to go in between, go into a Walmart store, go into a retail store that carries similar products and see how they're packaging right now and kind of compete on that level. So you can go in between, or you can target that.
Okay, perfect. So that's it for the questions for today. Again, if we missed any of your questions, we had a huge influx of questions, a lot more than we usually do. So go over to the Facebook group, that's Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA, and Ecommerce Collective, and someone from our community will be happy to help, whether it's Norm or one of the other experts in the group. Okay, it's time for the Wheel of Kelsey. Here we go.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
The Wheel of Kelsey. I think we got everyone in. We have a lot of people today.
All right, this is for the gift guide.
This is for the placement and the gift guides. So if you are the winner, please email me at k@lunchwithnorm.com. I'll put the email address in the comment sections as well. But here we go. Shuffle it up. 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. Bilal.
All right. Very good. Congrats.
All right. So Bilal, please email me k@lunchwithnorm.com and I'll connect you with your prize. Congratulations.
All right. That's perfect timing. Gift guide for the new year. Plus, Michelle's probably going to be able to help you out on how to hunt out other gift guides. Maybe not for the holidays, but for, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, they're really great to get some extra sales. Mr. King, I'm looking forward to seeing you in a couple weeks. But I also heard that you have a new course. The Freedom Ticket 3 is out right now.
I think the Helium 10's releasing that right now. We reshot that back in July, and they've been furiously editing it. And I think this week they released modules weeks 5 and 6. It's 10 weeks total. So they're doing 2 weeks at a time, and that's just because they're still in the process of editing it. So instead of waiting another 2 months to have everything to do at once, they're like, let's get it, at least the people can start going through it. There's a brand new Freedom Ticket, about 150 modules. Norm's got a guest speaking spot in there. It's all brand new. Some of it's similar material. So if you were in Freedom Ticket 2.0, the course is free. You can go pay for it if you want to, but virtually nobody does. It's free if you have a Helium 10 membership. And so just the goal is just to help you out and give you it's an A to Z. There's a lot of courses out there. Some are good, some are just pieces of doo-doo. But this one covers everything in more depth. A lot of them just focus on here's how you find keywords and here's how you do PPC or something. And they only focus on the sexy stuff. We focus on everything from starting your company to building your brand awareness to it's A to Z. So it's the most in-depth course, hands down, out there as far as details, from the basics all the way up to the advanced. So if you're a Helium 10 person, go check that out. You can skip around in there, or watch it from the beginning to the end. You get certified. They have a certification program, which if you're a BA or something like that, can really be a nice feather in your cap for when you're applying for jobs. But yeah, it's only one way to learn. There's others. The Private Label Legion, and there's other people that are out there that teach as well. Some of it's the same, some of it's a different approach. So always find someone that you resonate with and learn as much as you can, and it'll help you in your business.
Yeah, and from what I understand, the only reason why it hasn't fully been out is because they're working day and night on my module that I messed up so bad.
It's all that retouching. They had to send it out to Industrial Light and Magic to get all the spots off your face and everything. And
okay.
It's really good.
All right, okay.
A long time they're going to do frame by frame.
Yeah. So Kev, thank you so much for coming on. Love having you on. It was too long. I think it's been over 2 months since we had you on, but we got to get you on again. Thank you for sharing your time, your day with us, and we're going to see you next time.
That's right. We'll see you again soon. Take care, everybody.
Okay, Kelsey.
Yes.
All right,
Thank you, everyone.
That was awesome.
We had a great turnout from the Beard Nation, and yes, thank you for the questions. We try to get to as many as possible, but sometimes there's just too many. But I do want to talk to the Beard Nation about something happening the next 2 weeks. So the next episode, on the next Friday episode, we have to move that to Thursday. So there is actually no Friday episode next week. And then also on the Monday, there is no Monday episode, and that'll be on the Tuesday because someone is traveling to the UK, and booked their flights right during the podcast time. So we are doing some shuffling, we're moving it around, and then we also have a special Tuesday episode next week. So there's going to be a lot of craziness happening, but promise you, we're getting you 4 episodes next week and 3 episodes the week after. So
now here's what I say, and I think we should vote on this, okay? So yeah, I might be in the air, but Kelsey the Squire Farrar, I think he should be doing the podcast.
It's already been rescheduled. Can't do anything. Sorry.
Okay, all right. But you know what? I think you do a great job. Okay, so yeah, we have to let you know. We'll figure something out, but we will definitely have the exact same content coming out and more because we've got Amy coming in there too, talking about her event and dropping a bunch of stuff. But our next podcast is with returning guest Brian Johnson. He is always interesting, talking about this is going to be cool PPC and how to plan it out for fourth quarter, which is just as important. He's got a lot of different strategies that he's going to be sharing with us. So on that note, I think that's about it. Oh, and by the way, if you are looking, I'm doing a little bit of Kelsey here, but if you are interested in becoming a member, not that you have to, we're giving free content, but if you want to get part of the membership, our Patreon site, we do have a bunch of different types of training. It's not a podcast, it's actual training that we go in and we bring in guests that take action steps, show you exactly how to do something, provide SOPs. It depends on the level that you want. It could be either buy Kelsey a coffee, right on up to some pretty, not intense training, but quite a bit of training for the month, every month. And I think that's about it, Kels.
Yeah. So if you want more information about that, just go to our Lunch with Norm website, lunchwithnorm.com. Click the membership button at the very top. It's one of the tabs, and it's going to take you to the membership area. And so there's 3 different things you can choose. Of course, the highest tier is the most expensive, but you also get the most bang for your buck. You get guest lessons every month. You get Q&A sessions with Norm for twice a month. You get a session with me with the group. You get a monthly SOP. So there's a lot of great
giveaways
stuff there. A lot of giveaways too. We just did a consultation giveaway with Craig. So we don't want to make this a giant ad or anything, but it is something that is available for you guys if you guys haven't heard about it. So definitely check that out if you're interested. I'm putting the link in the comment section now. But
perfect.
Yes, thank you guys so much. we really appreciate you guys. This is awesome having you. And yeah, it's great seeing familiar names coming up more and more now and getting to meet everyone. So yeah, if you have any questions about the show, if you don't know when the next episode is, or if you have a topic that you want to discuss that you think would be great for the episode, just send it over to me at k@lunchwithnorm.com. And yeah, I look forward to meeting everyone, and you can always reach me in that email. But
All right.
yeah.
Thank you, Kels. And
You're
just
welcome.
a reminder, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. And like Kelsey was saying, thank you for being part of this, well, 201st now, but our 200th episode. We never thought we would make it that far. And, being part of the community. We would never have made it that far if we didn't have the community. So thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Lunch with Norm.